This conference will now be recorded.
Fine. So, in the yesterday's session, we were trying to discuss about DBMS, right? Uh, if you see, I just shared the PPTs with you in the group. Go through those PPTs. If not recording, if you are okay with the PPTs, you can go it. Okay, and I shared a long video which covered what is data and what is DBMS and its types and acid properties as well. And today we are going to discuss about what is SQL and what are the subtopics we have in SQL and why we need to learn SQL. All these things we need to cover in this session. Before that, I'll just give a quick recap on yesterday's session. So, yesterday we were trying to discuss about DBMS, right? And we discussed about it. It's a management system. Okay, database management system, which means there is a system, there is a management for the database. Okay, which has some advantages and properties. Now, when it comes to advantages, DBMS, it can be any database. Every database will give what are the advantages DBMS are giving, the same advantages the database will give. See, the moment I say advantages of DBMS, I mean advantages of DBMS, it is nothing but a database. Indirectly, you are talking about a database. See, you have created, I mean, you have invented a very good database into the market. Okay, the moment you introduced into that I mean that database into the market, it must have advantages or it must have the features where DBMS are giving. At the same time, it must have acid properties. If these two is there, then our database is a good database and ready to use. See, performance and everything, it's a secondary. But if you want something, if you want to tell something as a database, the, advantages need to be there and the properties also need to be there. Okay, so what are the advantages we saw when it comes to DBMS? One is data redundancy, controls the data redundancy. What is meant by redundancy? Duplicates. Okay, redundancy is nothing but
Sister, I can't hear you.
hello.
Okay, sister. Okay.
Is it fine now?
Ah,
Okay.
okay, sister.
Okay. Do let me know like whenever audio got paused or you're unable to hear me. Yeah, now I think it's fine. I just changed the mic.
Okay, sister.
Okay, fine. So, do you want me to repeat all the advantages or where you lost me?
No, sister, I know. I am clear about that. No need
Okay.
to repeat.
Okay, fine. So these are all the advantages that we discussed yesterday. And in addition to that, we just come across all the acid properties. Acid properties are very important. Okay. So acid, which stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Okay. So the moment I say atomicity, the entire transaction, I just gave you an example of ATM, right? Your transaction means the or withdrawal of the amount or else crediting of the amount. That all nothing but a transactions, right? Now, in terms of data, I mean in terms of SQL, insert, update, and delete. Those are nothing but a transactions. Okay, we will see this transaction meaning deep into the real SQL. Okay. And the consistency in the sense, yeah, once before and after the transaction your data should be same. Next, isolation in the sense, if one action is performing, if one transaction is performing, other transaction will never interpret this one. And durability, if even if the system fails, either it can be a successful transaction or else a failure transaction. Only these two things happen, it will never stuck in between. Okay, so based on these properties and based by comparing all the advantages, a database was introduced, and database models was introduced. Okay, now when it comes to model, we have many things. So one is hierarchical, network, or relational, and object oriented. So this object oriented is completely for the people who are working with Python, Java, and other languages. Okay, now hierarchical in the sense it is going to have parent and child relationship between the levels. See, if there is a vehicle, somehow you are going to store the data like this, then that is nothing but a hierarchical data. Networkal is something you're going to have a network to everything. If you want to get the director details, you go to the college and you can check department 1, department 2, or department 1, department 3. Any department you can visit and you can go and check for director details. Okay, so why those things got failed, which means why hierarchical and networker got failed? Because of its performance. As data was increasing day by day, networkal and hierarchical models will, I mean, is not supporting those huge data. If it is a small amount of data, then it is fine, you can be with this hierarchical and networkal databases. But it is increasing rapidly in the market. So I mean data is increasing very fast in the market, so that is where we come with an relational models. So um like Bhavya, why a relational model, it will never I mean we are not talking about performance and all. No, no. So data is increasing properly, and if you're storing duplicates as well, storage issue, right? If it is in a relational model, it is very easy for us to understand, and we can maintain different tables for different categories, and you can join them. You can establish a relationship between them. That is nothing but a relational DBMS. So in the relational DBMS, we will be having a table-like structure. Data will be in a table structured manner. The moment I say structured data, it is a relational model, and obviously it will be in a table format. So the moment I say table, it must have rows and columns. Okay, columns are also known as attributes, rows are also known as tuples. Okay, fine. Now, which data we are dealing? Relational model is leading the databases. I mean, relational model is ruling the world now. Now, to communicate with the relational model, we are learning this SQL. Okay, so only relational model. I'm not talking about tables. Okay, you establish a table in a WordPad, and if you try to write an Excel code, it will never work. It is, if it is a relational database, then only SQL works. Now, what is SQL? It's a biggest doubt, right? If you talk about SQL, we can simply say that it's a structured query language, right? Fine. It is true, it is a structured query language. Along with that, it is a medium or a language that help us to communicate with what? Relational models. Remember this point. And who gave this SQL? Excuse me. EF Cod. Okay, EF Cod gave SQL, I mean, introduced SQL into the market. Why he gave? He initially he is working for IBM. Uh, because of huge data, he realized that we must have data in a table format. That is where he introduced the relational model. So to communicate with that relational model, he only introduced SQL language. Okay, so while introducing something, we must have some rules, right? We will be having some rules. Like that only EF code was also having some rules. If your data want to be in a relational model, you must follow some rules. Okay, so EF code has given 12 rules. We need to follow those 12 rules, but unfortunately if you're following those 12 rules, 12 rules in a sense, when the situation comes you need to follow the rule, that's it. Every time you need to follow 12 rules, I'm not telling that. Whenever the situation comes, that you need to use. See, um those 12 rules, unfortunately relational databases will throw an error. If you're not following those 12 rules, those 12 rules are also known as errors. Okay, so that you need to remember. So let us try to understand EF code 12 rules. Yeah, it's not important to remember all the 12 rules. No need to worry, no need to remember, but I'm just telling you we have all these 12 rules. Okay, these are the 12 rules that EF code has given. See, database must be in a relational form, understand? If you want to write an I mean, if you want to use SQL language, what we must have, the database must be in a relational model, which means our database should be in a table format, structured format. Even semi structured also, it is somehow impossible. Now, the second rule is information must be stored in each cell of table in the form of rows and columns, which means um data should be present in single cell. Okay, if you see this table, see this is one is an information, right? So this one need to be stored in what? One single cell. Tell me one thing. Yeah, among these two, what is a table? I mean, which is a table? among these two? Which one is
Second one.
exactly? Why you are telling second one as a table?
Each row, each column is separated.
Okay. See, this is a table which has columns and rows. This is just a box. Okay. Now, this particular thing is nothing but a cell. The one which I have highlighted, right? That is nothing but a cell. Okay. So, into a cell, only one value need to be there. Here only one value, here only one value that need to be there. That is the second rule he gave. Third rule, each data element is guaranteed to be accessible logically with the combination of fine. Actually, it is telling that if you have data in each row, these data need to be accessed by using a columns. Okay, if you want to access it, you can access by using a columns. One more thing is null values. In the SQL, null values are specially treated. Okay, if you are working with nulls, always remember you need to treat the null systematically. So systematically in the sense what? Sometimes you need to remove the null, sometimes you need to add something to the null, sometimes you need to replace with null, sometimes you replace the null. All these things need to happen. Okay. This is also fourth rule. And the database catalog, I'll share this PPT with you, you just read it. I will tell you what are all the rules that are required, because if I read this one you will get confusion. Okay, actually no need to remember all those rules, but there are six basic rules we need to remember while working with SQL. That's it. Okay, I don't want to waste time by reading all these things. See, first rule is it must be a table. Second rule is for one table only one primary key. Okay, if this is a table, for this table only one primary key is allowed. And the third rule is you must have one primary key, and also, but you can have multiple foreign keys for a single table. Primary key is only one primary key, foreign keys can be anything, I mean any number of keys you can take for a table. Fourth rule is you need to treat the nulls systematically. And the fifth rule is for each cell only single data need to be there. Sixth rule is if you are following some structure, let's say here you have a name column and here you have ID column. Okay, here in this in this column you need to take only names. In this column you need to take only IDs. If you shift ID here and the name here, if you swap the values between name and ID, you will never get the exact output which you are expecting. Okay, so the sixth rule is also very important. So these are all the six rules we need to remember while working with the relational model and while working with the SQL language. Okay, so out of 12 these are the six. If you want you can read those rules. It's not that important to remember all those 12 rules. Okay, so this is about the EF code rules. Yeah, I have shown, I have told six different rules, right? So mostly I will try to show you those all rules as an errors. I will try to I will try to overcome that rules in the sense I will try to what yeah, I will never follow that rule. Okay, let's see what happens if I didn't follow the rule. Once we are enter into the tool, and if you start if you start working practically, then I will show those errors. Those errors are nothing but a rules. Okay. um yeah, so actually we are using SQL server as our database now. Okay, so I'll just walk through this SQL server. You need to install it. So let me open that SQL server. So SQL server is a Microsoft, you know, tool. It is an on-premise database. Okay, so you can type here as SSMS. Okay, so it is just a management studio. In that studio we have different services. Okay, let me open this SSMS. I just typed here SSMS. Now open this. It will take a few minutes to open. It is just opening. Yeah, so the moment I click on this SSMS, a studio got opened, right? So can you hear me? Yes. So a studio got opened, right? So this is actually a studio. This whole thing, what you are seeing in the screen, is a studio. Okay. So in that studio, you need to select for your service. Okay. See, server type you need to select. Here, I just want to work with database, right? So which is a SQL server. See, here it is denoting a SQL server. Now let me change it to some reporting service. Now this is nothing but an SSMS, sorry, SSRS. Let me take integration service. So this is an integration service. But we are here here the name is not changing. See, whatever the service you choose, somehow the SQL is supporting, right? So the server will support the SQL. That is where it is called SQL server. But we are working with the database. Okay, SQL server popularly known as what? A database engine. So database engine is a database that I'm trying to connect, also known as a SQL server. This SQL server is a service in the studio, SSMS studio. Okay, now server name, it is automatically detecting the server name. If it is not detecting, you can click on browse for more. Here you have all these services. Just expand the database engine and select this one and click on OK. Okay, automatically it got selected. I'm just going for Windows authentication. If you want, you can use this SQL server authentication. Okay, so right now Windows authentication is fine, because every time I don't want to give credentials and enter. I'll just simply go with Windows authentication. Now, yeah, trust server certificate true, and then click on connect. The moment you click on connect, automatically you are connected to the database. Okay. Now, see, here you will be seeing something like this object explorer and everything. Okay, so where you can write your queries here. See, upper you have this new query, right? So just click on that one. So the moment you click on the new query, a new worksheet is opening. So this is your worksheet. Here you can write your queries, whatever the queries you want to write, all those queries you can write. And to which database this worksheet got connected, where we can see that this worksheet is connected to master database. See here, bottom right, you can see the master database. Okay, your worksheet is connected to this master database. Now if you want to change your database manually, you can change it here. You can click on drop down, top left, here you can see. Okay, you can click on drop down and here you can uh, take whatever the database you want to select. So once you select a database here, automatically worksheet database is also changed. See here, bottom right, here previously it was master, now it is AP. How it got changed? Because we have changed it here. So this is a manual process to change the database. So Bhavya, we don't want to do it manually. Yes, we have a code to change the database. No worries. Okay. And now, so if you write a code here, let me something like this. Okay, some code you have written. Okay. Now if you want to execute this code, where we can execute, see here, you have execute button, right? So just simply click on this one. Automatically a result pane will be shown. Okay, Bhavya, you have written nothing, but it got executed successfully. See, there is nothing here. Let me remove this and start executing. Let me write something, then only it will execute, I think. Yeah. So even if it is not a code, syntactically it is correct. Actually, I just commented out this line. So if you want to comment out one line, you can go with this double hyphen. Okay, if you want to comment out multiple lines, then I'll show you what we need to use. Okay. Um, yeah. So this is nothing but a result pane. Result pane in the sense, whatever the queries you are executing in the worksheet, those all results you can see here. Okay, and to which database your worksheet is connected, from which database your data is coming, and how much time it has taken to execute, that you will see here, and how many rows it got generated, that also you can see here. Okay, so once it got executed I mean perfectly, it will show a message called complete commands completed successfully. Okay, so this is the worksheet and this is the result pane. And if you want to execute whole code in the worksheet, just click on come control E, or else just click on execute button. If you want only selected lines need to be execute, just select that code and try to hit execute button or control E. So I am too lazy to go here and execute, click on execute button. So that is where I always choose control E to execute. Remember, control E to execute our queries in the SQL server. Okay, fine. So this is how you're going to execute your queries. If you want to save your code, just simply hit control yes. Automatically a window will be pop up. So here, whatever the code you are writing, everything will be saved in .sql file. Why .sql file? Because we are writing a code in it. We are writing an SQL code, right? So if you write and if you want to save it, obviously it will save in the form of .sql. No worries. Right now I don't want to save it anything. Okay, so that is how you can save. If you want to open the same file again, just click on here open file. Okay, this symbol, click on this one. So whatever the files you want to open, that those files you can see here. All these are nothing but a .sql files only. That is where here it is showing database symbol. Okay, I'm just canceling this one. Now, or else you don't know how to open from here, just simply click on file. Here you will be having recent files. See, whatever the recent files you work on, those all files you can open it here. Okay, if you want to save, you can save something like this also, control yes, or you can click like this also. See, If you want to save only this particular worksheet, then you can simply go with this one. If you want to save all the worksheets, then you can go with this one. If you want new, you can see, you can go with the file, project, or database engine query, everything. So analysis service, we are not going for it. We are just working with the database engine, that's it. Okay, but we can't I mean, it is not necessary to choose from here because you have direct thing here, right? Yes. Now if you want to search something here in the code, you can simply click on control F. Okay, control F, in the sense a search bar will be pop up for you. So here you can search whatever you want. Okay. Fine. So remaining, this MDX, DAX, all these are also a languages, but those help us to query the analysis data. Okay, analysis service. If you want to write a query for analysis service, I mean analysis data, in the analysis service, then you can write a DAX. There SQL is not supporting. Okay. And what else we have here to discuss? Nothing is here, right? So edit, view, query. So these are all no need. If actually required, we can discuss. But basic things I'm just discussing. Okay, fine. This is fine. Now let us try to explore this object explorer. Okay, here you will be seeing many things. So this is the database you are connected, or the server you are using, or the engine you are connected. Okay, so I'm just connected to the local server, local database engine, that is desktop C2 IQVMO VM0 or something. So to this engine I'm just connected. So that engine, I have databases, security, server objects, and many things I have. So out of those things, if you want to see the databases, just expand the databases. So in the databases also you have system databases and our databases, the one which we have created, those databases are also there. If you want to create database, you can also create a database. That database you can see here. Very simple. Creation of database is very simple. Okay, so inside the database, let's say AP, so inside the database you have database diagrams, tables, views, synonyms, programmability, storage, security, many things we have. Okay, so just expand the tables. So you have system tables and the one which we created. Mostly we will be working with the tables that we have created. Okay, so if you expand any of this table, so you will be having columns, keys, constraint, triggers, indexes, and the statistics that was there on top of the table, only on top of the table. Okay, so if you expand the columns, so these are the columns we have for contact updates. Okay, right? Fine. And what are all the keys we have on top of those columns? Also you can see here constraints. This I'll tell you what is meant by keys, what is meant by constraints and all. Okay, so this is a table. And next, views. What are all the views that we have created in this database? Okay, this I will tell you once we start working with the code. Okay, so database diagram means ER diagram, just to understand the relationship, or else to understand the tables and its common columns, we will simply go for database engine. Okay, fine. So maximum these are the things that we are going to discuss. So yeah, we have many services here, right? So these all services that will be supporting for analysis, integration, and reporting. See, initially I told you, right, the moment you click on connect button, here you have many services, right? So these all will be supporting all other services. Okay, even though it is supporting other services, it will pop up here as well. Not pop up, it will be there in the server also. I mean SQL server as well. Okay, so this is a SQL server, and yeah, if it is confusing for you to understand the SQL server, still fine. Daily you will be seeing the SQL server, right? After a week or after a 4 5 days, you will be habituated to use this one. So no worries. I'll help you to adapt to this SQL server. Okay, fine. So this is a walkthrough of SQL server. I'll help you to install this one. I'll send you some steps. If you are unable to follow those steps, just ping me. I'll help you to install that as well. Okay, fine. So the next thing we have in our bucket is database. See, database is a place or a medium where we can store data in a systematic and organized manner. It is true, right? Database is nothing but what we are having some base for our data. We need to have some place to store our data, right? So that is nothing but a database. Now, on top of those, on top of any database, CRUD operations are the basic operations. CRUD. CRUD, CRUD. Previously, I used to learn it as a CURD. Okay, don't do that mistake. It's a CRUD. So, what is mean by CRUD? So, basic operations. Okay, if you want to have a database, or else if you are working with a database, so on top of the database, basic operations like CRUD operations we can do. Okay, so before that, what is CRUD? See, you can create something in the database, you can read from the database, you can update the existing data in a database, and you can delete unnecessary data in the database. C stands for create, R stands for read, U stands for update, D stands for delete. Okay, all these four operations you can perform on the database. Okay, fine. So far we have discussed many things, right? So out of those topics, I will try to figure out important and interview related concepts. Okay, first one, what is database? First question. Second question, what kind of what kind of DBMS model we are using right now? Okay, the third question, what are acid properties? Fourth question, what is meant by CRUD? Fifth question, no fifth question, only four. Okay, yeah, these four might be very important. Okay, just try to answer these four questions at least to yourself. Okay, we are entering into SQL now. More, we have 9 minutes of time. We can somehow come across all these things in a high view. No worries. Okay, if you learn all these five sub languages, 90%, sorry, yeah, 90% of your SQL is done. Yeah, it is true. 90% of your SQL is done. Yeah, in this, we are going to learn advanced SQL as well, right? So that 10% is that advanced SQL. Yeah, just learn only five sub languages, enough. Yeah, only five we have, and that five we are going to learn. So one is data definition language, data second one data manipulation language, third data control language, fourth transactional control language, fifth data query language. Okay, yeah. So this DDL will talk about the definition language, right? Which means structure of the objects. Okay, if you are talking about the structure of the objects, then we should go for DDL. If you want to if you want to have some changes in the objects, then you should go for manipulation language. So manipulation is nothing but what? Modifications only, right? Next, control. If you want to control the flow of data between the users, then you should go for data control language. If you want to control the transactions, which means insert, update and delete. Actually, insert, update and delete comes under what? Manipulation language. Because with that only we can change, right? We can change, we can modify, we can manipulate the data, right? Yeah, if sorry, TCL will control the DML in simple, because transactional control language. DML is responsible for transactions, right? So these transactions can be controlled by what? Transactional control language. So data query language, a complete different topic and very important topic. DQL, if you want to query the data. So all queries are nothing but a transformations, remember. Moving forward, I will tell you what is meant by transformation. Okay, so this is just a high view on each language, each sub language in the SQL. The very first one is DDL, data definition language. See, it simply deals with description of the database schema. So database schema in the sense, yeah, just a structure, man. It's just a structure. Okay, so if you are creating a new structure, if you are modifying a new structure, if you are dropping a new structure, if you are dropping the objects, then this whole part will be dealt by what? Data definition language, DDL. See, DDL is a set of SQL commands used to create, modify, and delete database structures, but not data. This is very important. DDL will never touch the data. 100% I will tell you, DDL will never touch the data. DDL will always work with structure of the data. I mean, structure of the objects. Only the structure. If you have data inside a table, no matter if you have data inside a table or not, it will never bother about the data. See, clearly it is mentioning DDL is a set of SQL statements used to create, modify, and delete database structures. So, database structures is also known as what? Instead of this one, okay, database object structures, but not data. DDL will never touch the data. Remember this point. Yeah, this is also an interview question. What is DDL? Will you simply give a definition like this? It will talk about the structures of I mean structure of the object in the database. Will you simply give this definition to the interviewer? What is the difference between you and some other person, right? You need to tell something more. That more is nothing but this line. More is not, see, I'm not telling you to tell an essay on it. Okay, because interviewer is not ready to listen all your essays. Okay, so what he or she require is the clarity. With one word is enough. One word with clarity. It is going to deal with the database objects but not data. Enough. Okay, so what we can do with the database? What can we do with DDL? I mean, what can we do with DDL? These all four. Okay, so if you want, you can create something in the database. If you want, you can drop something from a database. If you want to alter, you can alter it. You can, if you want to truncate, you can truncate it. So Bhavya, truncate and drop in the English dictionary, we have the same meaning for drop and truncate, but here you have two different commands. Yes, I have. I will tell you how it is differentiating also. Okay, so here it is nothing but a create. Create is a statement which help us to create database objects. So what is meant by objects? Objects can be tables, indexes, views, stored procedures, triggers, anything. If you use a create statement, then that is nothing but a DDL. Okay, you can create any object. If you want to create table, any table you can create. If you want to create indexes, you can create it. Views, stored procedure, anything you can create. So all these comes under what? Objects. If someone asks you what is object in data, objects are nothing but tables, indexes, views, stored procedures, and triggers. And we have many more also. Synonyms we can create, sequence we can create. Okay, we have. Now, if you want to drop the object, see, I am not talking only about tables, I am talking about objects. Remember this point. Okay, if you want to delete the data, I mean, delete the objects from a database. See, I'm not deleting a data, I'm deleting a object. So to delete object from a database, you will be going with drop command. You can drop tables, you can drop views, you can drop stored procedures, you can drop indexes, you can drop triggers. So any database object you can drop. And you have created a table, and later if you want to add few columns, or else if you want to remove few columns, again I'm telling you, I am not talking about rows, I am talking only about columns. Okay, if you want to make that changes, then you should go with alter. You know, right, what is meant by alteration? You're just modifying the existing one, that's it, right? So the same definition holds good here also. Okay, the truncate, actually it will never drop the structure of the table, but the data inside it is going to drop. It will never touch the structure of an object, but it will try to drop the data inside it. But here comes the doubt. Bhavya, you told that DDL will never touch the data. Now also I am telling the same thing. Truncate also will never touch the data, but it will remove the records permanently from a database. Not database, from a table. Okay, without looking into the data, without knowing what data was present inside a table. I will try to prove this. Okay, DDL will never bother about the data which is present inside a table or any object. I will try to prove this by my commands. Okay, so Monday onwards, tomorrow Sunday, right? So in Monday's session, we will try to implement all these commands with different objects, with different things. Okay, so Monday, you need to have this SSMS installed in your laptops. Okay, so actually Monday I will tell the commands and everything, right? Tuesday you will be preparing, or else Monday evening you will be preparing for it. So make sure you need to do this installation before Monday only, because Monday somehow I'll be busy in office work and all. So try to install at least today or tomorrow. If you have any doubts, ping me, I'll help you. I'll be available today and tomorrow. If not immediately, somehow I'll try to make this work done. Okay, is it boring?
No, sister.
No, fine. So yeah, before entering into this DDL, we must understand about data types and constraints. So and then we will talk about, and then we will try to run all these commands. Okay. So yeah, we have learned many things today. I don't want to discuss this data types and constraint. It is fine if we discuss today. Monday we can purely concentrate on only execution practical part. But somehow you'll get confusion if I discuss everything now. Okay, so what are all the things we discussed today? EF chord rules, and we just walk through this SQL server, and we learn about the CRUD operations. Very simple, no, CRUD operations. And then we enter into this sub languages individually, and we enter into the data definition language, and we come across what are all the things we can do with DDL. And this we can do, and we will try to understand all these things practically in Monday's session. So any doubts here? Anything you want to know? Yeah, please feel free to ask your doubts.